Hello and welcome to today's virtual field trip. This is a very special virtual field trip about Wikipedia. A lot of students use Wikipedia on a regular basis for doing research, but many of them aren't aware of how easy it is to edit Wikipedia and why it's not necessarily a bad thing. So this presentation will hopefully explain to you a little bit about the background of Wikipedia. So first of all, to kind of get things started, we need to address the question, why does Wikipedia sometimes make people nervous? And I've got some hints up on the board that might stimulate your imagination a little bit. If you have heard of a reason why sometimes people don't want you to use Wikipedia, go ahead and type it in the chat area. Right, and we've got three very good reasons listed in the chat area now, pretty much all having to do with the fact that anybody can change it. And that can be a pro or a con, depending how you want to look at it. But if you are looking for the authoritative answer to something, Wikipedia might not necessarily be the best place to go. Sometimes people write on Wikipedia casually and they don't really check their facts very well, and they might edit it a certain way by accident, but sometimes people actually do it on purpose, and this is known as vandalism. Vandalism is the addition, removal, or change of content in a deliberate attempt to compromise the integrity of Wikipedia. So this can be going to a page and blanking it out, or putting in something funny instead, like these people did in this example, or, putting in information that looks right but is actually wrong. And there are people who think it's hysterical to do this on a regular basis. And so if you're going to Wikipedia for information on a paper, you might accidentally be taking information that somebody put up there as a part of vandalism. Hopefully you would know that this is not a velociraptor. But sometimes they can be a little bit tricky about it. Nevertheless, Wikipedia is something that is constantly being edited and updated. There are hundreds of thousands of people who edit Wikipedia, and a few hundred of them do it on a regular basis. This is like an obsession. It can be a hobby. It can be something that retirees do. They're constantly looking for things on Wikipedia that need to be fixed and fixing it. And that means that Wikipedia has a greater variety of articles than a lot of other sources, and the accuracy is usually pretty high. People tend to catch problems as soon as they crop up, and I'm going to share my screen and bring up Wikipedia on here to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so here's the main page of Wikipedia, and if you click over here on the left, there is this little button that says Recent Changes. Go ahead and write in the chat or give me a green check mark if you've ever looked at this Recent Changes button before. Or write a nope if this is a new button for you. Okay, this is really cool. It's kind of a neat feature. If you click on Recent Changes, it tells you all the edits that have happened recently, like up to the second. So today is November 6th, 2004, and this is the current time. And if you look down the list, this is all just in the past minute. All of these edits have been made. It fills up the whole page and then some. The top edit here is talk on the linkage section. Let me refresh the article. So let's look for that one. Talk, linkage, talk, linkage, talk, linkage. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I should probably use the find function, but I'm going to do it this way. Oh, I can't even find it. Okay, let me do it faster. Brittany Maynard, refresh page, find, and it's just, the edits are coming so quickly that you can't even if you refresh the page that fast, it's a whole new set of edits that come up. So people are constantly working on this, and it's very interesting to see how fast the changes come through. All right, so let's move on to some reasons why you should be one of these people on this screen editing Wikipedia. Let me pull up my presentation again. And I've got several reasons here, which may or may not be of interest to you. Number one, I think, be a hero. Make Wikipedia better. And whenever they do polls of Wikipedia editors, this is a huge one that comes up. People just want to help out. They know Wikipedia is free, and they're bothered by the idea of there being inaccurate information on it. So why not, instead of complaining about it, be one of the people who makes Wikipedia that much better? Reason number two, everybody's an expert in something. You should be willing to share your expertise with others, even if it's just like you know every single Batman Brave and Bold episode by heart. There's a Wikipedia article for each of those episodes, and you could be one of the people who take it upon themselves to add links to other characters, refer back to previous episodes, and put information there that helps people who are just learning about the series for the first time. Peer review can be scary. People don't like to be judged, but this is a good skill to have, to be able to respond to the comments and criticisms from others. You might do an edit on Wikipedia, and then somebody comes back and says, nope, that edit was not good, and they change it back to the way it was before. You don't have to get upset about this. People on Wikipedia, who've been on Wikipedia for a little while, know how to talk to each other and explain why it's better this way versus that way. And this information helps you. It makes you be a better writer. Get inspired to learn more. A lot of times I'll edit a Wikipedia article, and in the process of fixing it, I'll be like, well, this needs to be expanded, and I don't actually know that much about that. So let me do some extra research and bring it to the article, and it helps me to grow in my particular field. Improving your writing skills. When you edit Wikipedia articles, you are improving articles' organization, making sure that the paragraphs lead into each other nicely. There's a good intro, there's a good conclusion, everything's all sorted out well. You're looking at grammar and punctuation and all that typography kind of stuff. And you're looking at, are things cited correctly? And this is all skills that will be important for you in high school, in college, and in many fields of employment too. Did you know that Wikipedia is not just in English? There are over 250 other languages that Wikipedia is written in as well. You can, if you have a second language, if you're bilingual, you can edit Wikipedia in both languages and become that much stronger in each one. Once you get to French 4, Spanish 4, the upper level Latin courses, it's a good idea to look at Wikipedia in those languages and to get practice in editing in those particular languages. And you can compare, the Spanish version to the English version of the Albert Einstein article and see what needs to be updated on each particular one. Practicing online etiquette. Like I said, once you get some practice with Wikipedia, it's easier for you to converse with people. But sometimes when you first start out, surprise, surprise, people can be jerks on the internet sometimes. The more you get used to editing and participating in an open forum, the better you get at being polite to others, and also the better you get at learning how to handle it when other people are rude to you for no reason at all. You learn how to keep your pride and your integrity intact without getting sucked into some kind of flame war. So it's good to practice this so that as you continue to participate online and gain more and more expertise, you're not making all kinds of enemies. Wikipedia is very, very easy to edit, so it's not really coding. I put coding in quotation marks. But it does get you more used to the idea of working behind the scenes and seeing how You can use special code in order to make your article look one way versus another and finding your errors and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people forget that when you write a resume, you can include things like Wikipedia edits. How is this possible, you may ask? Well, a lot of times when you are writing your first resume, you don't really have a whole lot of stuff to write down because you may not have job experience, you may not have volunteered that many places. So that's not really a big problem. What you can do is you can add a section called Other Experience. And that's where you write things like edited Wikipedia, and you list the articles and the things that the changes that you made. You could do this on other open source sites as well, like book review sites and things like that. If you're interested in going into, say, the field of education, and you want to pad out your resume, on your own, get fiction or nonfiction books that have to do with those topics or movies. Watch them, read them, write reviews of them. And that can be a part of your resume, listing the things that you've reviewed and adding the links. Hi, Paul. Thanks for joining us. And finally, creating a positive digital footprint. This is a really important thing. We're all involved in lots of different places on the internet. In some places we're doing silly stuff. In some places we're doing serious stuff. And you want there to be a balance. When you are sending in an application to either a college or to a job, they do Google you. They don't just Google your name, they also Google your email address, and they look at what you've been doing online. And if you type in, like, say, the first part of your email address, which people tend to use as their username in a lot of places, and come up with nothing but, comments that you made on YouTube about horrible videos, or, comments that you made on Reddit that perhaps weren't terribly professional, that means you don't have a very good digital footprint. But you can balance that out with edits that show that you can be a responsible and serious person and you're not just a big goofball all the time. And editing Wikipedia is a good way of doing that because, again, it is peer-reviewed. So I definitely encourage you to take Wikipedia seriously and edit it for that reason, so that you have a good digital footprint online. All right, let me move to the next section. We're almost to the part where we actually do some editing, but I just want to give you some last-minute tips and things. There are no age restrictions for editing Wikipedia or writing new articles. Anybody can do it. This is one of the things that made Wikipedia scary to a lot of people when it first came out. They're like, well, I don't know if this editor is 8 years old or 18 years old or 80 years old. But that's kind of a good thing because it means that your knowledge and your skills are doing the speaking for you. People aren't thinking of you as a teenager. They're thinking of you as a Wikipedia editor. So you will be taken seriously. If you are new to Wikipedia and a little bit uncertain, it's a good idea to go to the Wikipedia Adopt a User page and to sign up. This page allows you to get a mentor on Wikipedia who can help you check edits that you make, give you advice about articles that you're working on, things like that, help you come up with projects, and make it a little bit easier for you to get used to the Wikipedia community. So that brings us to creating a username. It is important to create a username on Wikipedia. All the edits that are made on Wikipedia are tracked. If you don't create a username, they're tracked according to your IP address. The IP address has to do with the location, where you are accessing the internet. So if you are accessing the internet from a library or a school or a computer lab or something like that, it's going to be that IP address. That means that everybody there is all under that same account. It's better for you to have your own username to keep everything separate. And with that, I'm going to share a little movie to give you an idea of some of the people who are editing on Wikipedia already. All right. So this should come up. I'm going to type it in the chat too. Okay, I forgot to turn my mic off, so I hope the echo wasn't too bad there. But let me go ahead and move to the next screen. You may have noticed that some of the people on Wikipedia were using slightly changed names, some totally made up names, and some were using their actual real name. And we should talk a little bit about the pros and cons of that. So I've enabled whiteboard privileges, and you can either type directly on the screen or type in the chat area. Should your username be based on your real name? What do you think? Yeah, it looks like some people are having some trouble accessing the whiteboard, but we're getting some excellent comments in chat area about how, you know, sometimes it's good to use your username and sometimes you may not be comfortable with that, and it may be your preference to use not a fake name, but something that's not your real name. Yeah, and we have definitely some excellent pros and cons, and I gathered a couple in advance as well, and this very much goes along with what people were saying too. Some of the pros, your contributions will have your name on them, which again makes it easier for your resume. It looks more professional. Some of the usernames that people have are a little bit on the goofy side. The articles you edit will show that you are a well-rounded person. It's okay if you are planning on going into engineering and you want to, you know, edit articles about Ben 10 as well. You can have a diverse amount of interest, and that actually makes you look like a better person. You will be able to prove that you have good etiquette online. So again, it's just being able to attribute things to yourself. The downside, people could recognize you and hassle you, which happens online sometimes. You might feel worse if people criticize or correct your contributions. Sometimes if you have a username that's not your actual name, it's easier to deal with people being critical of what you've done than something that's got your actual name on it. So that might be something to think about too if this is something that you'd be self-conscious about. You might think twice about working on silly articles. Again, I don't think you necessarily have to, but some people would see that as a con. And you will have to work twice as hard to have good etiquette because you know that anything you do will be associated with your name. And Kendall's absolutely right that you should work twice as hard on online etiquette anyways because the people that you're talking to are real people. But anything you do that you write in haste is going to be attributed to your real name. So that's something to think about. All right, now I want to move on to the next phase of this presentation, which is a feature on Wikipedia. Oh no, where'd it go? Hold on a second. Called the Wikipedia Adventure, which is for people who are new to Wikipedia and want to get some practice. There we go. Okay. To pull this up, what you type is Wikipedia:TWA in the search engine up here in Wikipedia, and that takes you to the Wikipedia Adventure, TWA. And here's the different missions that there are down at the bottom. The first 3 missions are about just making basic edits, and then after that it goes into the importance of citing your sources, maintaining a neutral point of view. It's really important that you don't just use Wikipedia for your own opinions or experiments or whatever, and just how to get along with everybody online. Now, I'm not going to take you through all of these because that will take a long time, but I want to at least go through the first one here so that you can get the basics of how to edit and see how the adventure works. So, let us begin. Start the adventure. We're going to start with mission 1. So, this journey has 7 missions, each with its own skills, all designed for you to become a great contributor to Wikipedia. It points out that each mission takes place in these little boxes, so you have to make really sure that when you're ready to move on to the next slide, you click on the arrow instead of clicking the X. Because if you click on the X, then it closes the mission and you've got to start the thing all over. Wikipedia is awesome and amazing. Wikipedia is viewable more than 8,000 times a second, or viewed more than 8,000 times a second, fifth largest website in the world, blah, blah, blah. Who writes it? Everybody does. There's 19 million registered users, and that means registered with a username. That doesn't even include the people who edit it with just their IP address. You get to discover your own path and purpose. It sounds so magical. All right, creating an account gives you lots of neat benefits. Let's go for it. Now, I already have an account. I just need to log in. So I'm going to do that now. I am C. Fitzpatrick 3. I'm comfortable with that username because Fitzpatrick is an extremely common last name. So on one hand it's mine, and on the other hand I have anonymity. So I sort of have both things going on there. If you create an account, there's very little information that you have to put in, basically just an email address, and that's it. And if you get tired of a particular account and want to create a new one, that's fine. You just delete it and you make a new one and you move on with your life. This is probably the third Wikipedia account I've had over the past few years. So let's start by introducing ourselves to the community. This is my user page, which is a place to tell other editors about yourself. What does a good user page look like? Here is our first galactic challenge. This is their attempt to make this sort of like a game. So we need to select which of these 3 introductions is the best one to put on your user page. You think the first one, the second one, or the third one is the one that we would want to put on there? Yeah, definitely not the first one. You don't want to, that's too much sharing. Too much sharing on the internet. You don't want to say where you live. You don't want to say your phone number. You don't want to give your social security number. You don't want to give financial information. That's horrible. The last one is just a little bit hostile. I mean, it may be what you truly feel, but that's not very welcoming to put on your user page. You might as well not put anything at all. So this second one is what I'm going to select. And it says, yay, I got it right. All right, so now it's my turn. To start editing, it directs you to the edit button up here at the top. And this is the editing interface. So you type into the big text box, username, what are you doing? It doesn't really matter what you put in, but we want to practice putting in at least something. So I'm going to say, hello, I love being a teacher online. I am from Fort Lauderdale. Bye. All right. It's not very exciting, but there it is. So I typed it in. Now I'm going to do next. And they direct you to edit summary and save. Edit summary is important. A lot of people neglect this, but it's really helpful because it means when when I hit save, it'll show up on that recent changes page that we looked at first with that little tagline, so people know whether it's a major edit or just a minor edit. And there, now it's changed, and that means I get a special badge. If you go through all the missions on this Wikipedia Adventure, you get a ton of wonderful badges to put on your screen. So let's make it even better. We'll click Edit again. And we want to highlight and use the B button. Once upon a time when Wikipedia first started, we had to, type in brackets and equal signs and all kinds of things in order to get stuff to bold. But now they've got these features up at the top, and it just does everything for us. Now we'll click I. And now we'll link to other pages. Fort Lauderdale is a city. So this part we use the link button for, which is right here. This is going to link to the Wikipedia page on Fort Lauderdale. And it just pops in those brackets there. There we go. So now I've got, oh, it won't move over. Now I've got bold and italics and all kinds of beautiful things on my main page. And that's basically how you edit everything. Mission 2 goes into a little bit more detail, but like I said, I'm not going to go through all of the missions right now. Every single article on Wikipedia allows you to edit it like that by clicking on the edit button. So if I go back to the main page and click on today's featured article, oh, hang on, actually, let's go to recent changes. See if I'm still there. Yeah, I think maybe I didn't go here fast enough. But I would have appeared on here something like this, you know, with a note that I had edited the page. But anyway, if I go up here, I can edit the article and change anything I want to by using those same coding practices. And that's how Wikipedia gets updated. Now, how do you come up with ideas for what to edit on Wikipedia? You know, if you've decided you want to embrace the editing challenge, what exactly do you do? Well, if you just be alert, you can come up with possibilities for editing all the time. One of the best possibilities is your local community. The city that you live in, important public places, important people. A lot of times, unless you live in a super big city, these kinds of things get overlooked and aren't listed on Wikipedia. You can add these, especially photos. I'm going to show you in a little bit projects, and a lot of articles don't have a photo associated with them. So let's say you live in Kansas City and nobody has taken a photo yet of the new jazz museum that's there. You would go there and take a photo and then upload it to Wikipedia, making your hometown that much more represented online. So that's a fun thing to do as well. Books that you're reading, that's how I come up with a lot of them. Favorite TV shows and movies. You know, if you are engaging in something as a hobby, get used to periodically going to that Wikipedia article and seeing if there's anything there that you can update. So now we come to the exciting part. Let's actually edit a real live Wikipedia article, not just a stupid user page, but an article that people go to all the time. Let's make an edit there and, you know, see if we can make it a little bit better. This is a book that I've been working my way through, Hispanic History of the United States. My background is history, so I read a lot of history books. And I ran across this sentence. This is a direct sentence from the book. General William T. Sherman, the deviser of the scorched earth policy that had helped wreck the Confederacy, advocated the hunter's policy of, quote, destroying the Indians' commissary, let them kill, skin, and sell until the buffaloes are exterminated. Commissary is a military term for the source of food, you know, the people who distribute rations and everything. So what he's saying is let's reduce the number of Indians in the western United States by starving them out by killing all the buffalo. So I thought this would be an interesting possibility. Does the William C. Sherman article currently mention anything about this view of his? This is listed from the article, and it mentions, the displacement of the Indians is facilitated by the growth of the railroad and eradication of the buffalo, but it doesn't mention his views on it. So I think that this would be a good thing to add. When you're thinking about editing, you want to check the article's top page, because people might have already discussed a change like this and decided against it. And you want to check the article's edit history to see how popular it is. So let me bring up Wikipedia again and show you what I mean. Here's the William Tecumseh Sherman article. If we go to the top page here, this is where all the Wikipedia editors talk about all the changes that they've made. You have to scroll down a little bit. And there aren't really that many changes, and I read through this the other day, and none of them have to do with the buffalo. So theoretically, this would be a good thing for me to edit. One thing I do notice here, though, is the William Tecumseh Sherman article is a featured article. This means it's one of the best articles on Wikipedia. People are very proud of it, and it's possible that they may not take kindly to me updating it. They say you can update or improve it, please do so, but sometimes people get kind of territorial, and it may be that I'm going to make a change and people are going to come back and be hostile about it. That's okay. I can deal with that. I know that I'm making this change for good reasons, and if they want to change it back, they can change it back, but I'm going to at least give it a try. The other thing to look at is the edit history, because this says, how active the article is. This article hasn't been updated in a month, but it looks like Emma Drummond really loves this article and has done a lot of edits to it. So if somebody comes back at me and says, I hate you for editing my article, then it's probably going to be that person, but they can get over themselves, basically. All right, so let's jump back again. I think it's worth editing, so I'm going to do it. Challenge accepted. So this is what the book says. This is the quote that I had on the previous slide. I'm not going to just drop in that quote word for word because that would be plagiarism. Even if I put it in quotation marks inside of it and everything, that's still not that great. It doesn't need to be taken directly from the book. I should summarize it. So that's what I did over here. Sherman believed that the intentional eradication of the buffalo should be encouraged as a means of weakening Native American resistance. That's basically the main idea of that sentence. But this could be improved upon. It doesn't say when this happened, and I think that makes a difference. Did Sherman say this when he was a very young guy, when he was actually in charge in the West? That makes a difference. So I also found a second source just by Googling around online, and again, this is what I meant by sometimes when you start editing, you end up learning more. I found another book that says he voiced, well, it doesn't say this directly, but it says that this is when and where he said these remarks, so I can add this sentence as well to my edit. So let's do it. Let me go to the article, and I'm just going to copy and paste from what I have. How's everybody doing? Can you give me a smiley face or say hello or something like that if you're still with me? Okay. I know this is a very talky kind of VFT, but hopefully that's okay. So let's go back to editing the article. Oh, because this is a featured article, it's been semi-protected, so only auto-confirmed users can edit it. It doesn't take that much to be an auto-confirmed user. It just means you have to have a username, it has to be created a certain amount of time ago, and you have to have already done edits elsewhere that weren't vandalism. I've done a ton of edits. I'm okay. I can edit this article. So let me, all right, here's the place where it talked about buffalo. So this is where I want to paste in my information. I'm going to paste it in right here. But, we got to cite the source as well. We've got Christy Hartman in the room who's in charge of plagiarism and things. She'd be very upset with me if I just plop this in here and didn't cite my source. So let me grab my information just so I've got it handy. But I also want to show you how this is done. All right. So I've got my cursor right after my last sentence that I pasted in. To cite, you just come up here to the Cite button. Oops, it's already open. And then click Templates, and this is coming from a book. So you fill in as much information that you've got. I don't have the ISBN number or anything like that, but I've got name, author, title, location, page number, all that kind of stuff. And then you hit Insert, and it just pops it in there for you in the exact format that you want. I don't want to take the time to type that all in now, so I had got that already. So this is what it would spit out if you did that. So now I've got my bit that I've added. I've got my 2 citations from 2 different books. I want to see how this looks. So let's show preview. All right, again, let's jump to Buffalo. And here we are. Uh-oh, it looks like I made a mistake. Because I didn't mean to make that all boxy after that. But here's the part that I added in. And I need to go back and clean that up a little bit. This is just the preview. All right, and here's the actual text. So what happened? Oh, this is what happened. All right, let's try it again. There we go. That's much prettier. So I've got the bit that I added and my 2 citations. And that shows I'm not just making stuff up. It's always important to cite things. That's why it doesn't matter if you're an expert or not. It helps, definitely. But even if you're not, you really just have to be a good researcher. So I definitely want to save this now. But I want to do my summary. I'm going to put added info about Buffalo extinction. Good enough. Not a minor edit. It is something important to the article. And I'm going to do save page. And it's being very slow, but it is saving. There we go. So now, here's the article as it is. If you go to the William Tecumseh Sherman article and go to history, you'll see me there. And it'll stay there unless somebody decides that this was a bad edit and changes it back. If they do, they'll need to go to the talk area and say exactly why they're changing it. But I think it improves the article. I feel that it's a good thing that we've done today. Let's go back to the presentation. We're wrapping it up now. If you don't want to just find things, as you come across them, you can also find a project. If you go to the main page on Wikipedia and click on Community Portal, then it'll bring up a whole list of different things that need help on Wikipedia. If you scroll down a little bit, you can fix grammar, you can add wiki links, there's all kinds of things that need to be done. So it's good to click on these and you'll see specific things that we would like to have fixed on Wikipedia. But the important thing is to be brave. What's the worst thing that can happen if you make an edit that's actually not a good edit? Well, other editors might be rude. Hopefully they're not, but sometimes people are. It's not a big deal. They're not going to come through your computer and strangle you or anything like that. You'll get over it. It's not a problem. People might disagree with your edit and change it back. That's happened to me lots of times. I've edited World War II articles that have, the information I've put in has been properly cited and well organized and everything else. but people said, you know, I feel your edits did not really fit the flow of this article, and just took them away and changed it back again. You can discuss it with them on the top page and come to a consensus, but that might not always happen. Sometimes it's better just to walk away. If you are really, really, really bad on Wikipedia, your account might be locked. There was a thing over the summer where somebody operating from a non-username account using the U.S. Congress IP address was making all kinds of changes to Wikipedia. Not like productive changes, but vandalism, saying Donald Rumsfeld is a lizard from outer space and things like that. And so Congress got its IP address locked, and for 10 days, nobody there could edit Wikipedia at all. If that happens to you a lot, your account could be locked permanently, and then you'd have to get another username and big deal. So there's really nothing bad that can happen if you edit Wikipedia, but there's a lot of good things that can happen because you can benefit yourself in all of these ways that I mentioned before. So I really encourage you to play around with it, get interested in making these changes, do all the different practice things, go through all the missions of the Wikipedia Adventure, and have a good time with it. That concludes my presentation for the day, but if anybody has any questions or anything, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the mic and ask away.